Hello, my name is Rafael Lopez. This is my financial knowledge documentary. I will be going through an introduction real quick, just to let you know what this is all about. So what is finance? First of all, I'll start with that, and then personal finance for the youth, which is kind of tied into what my topic will be about. Some supporting details and advocacy. What are our next steps? What can we do? So let's go ahead and get started. What is personal finance? We can say the management of your money, responsibility, and investments. Management of your money is, let's say you have your income and then you have your bills and expenses. So how well can you manage the two? Are you making good income? Do you spend more than you make? Are you in the negatives? Do you have a lot of debts to pay? Just overall management of your money. How do you handle it? Responsibility is just, do you stay on top of everything? Do you track your finances and investments? Well, that's when you start getting really good at it and you invest in stuff that you can make money from. So more like passive income or setting yourself up for the future. My main idea is to start the youth with personal finance knowledge. Let's start them at the high school level. Let's get them growing on it. That way, when they get out of high school and they start applying for credit cards, student loans, having jobs, having bills to pay, that way they know exactly how to handle that money, or have an idea at least. From my studies, I've seen that only a few, I would say 10 or less states have personal finance classes mandated in their schools. So this would be helpful for the youth, because then we have more knowledge and we can see how the high student debt, which I will get to in a minute, has impacted them greatly, because kids don't exactly know what they're getting into, but I'll go ahead and delve deeper later. When it comes to student loans, we can see that we have a pretty big hole of debt, 1.5 trillion to be exact, which seems insurmountable, but we can see that 44.5 million people are taking out loans currently. And this is all from NerdWallet. But what my idea is that we need to understand what is happening when we're taking out these student loans. People understand that they need to be paid back. Are the people getting a degree that will allow them to pay back? I'm trying to get across that we need to start in the high school level. We need to start teaching people, because that's when people mostly take on their personal finances. People start getting jobs and applying for credit cards and loans. So it's better to teach them at this level. That way they understand exactly what an interest rate is and how much credit can affect them. And then just making them aware will at least help out a little bit. That is my idea. When people try to argue about this topic, they say that, well, does it actually help? Or are we seeing improvements? And we are seeing improvements, but not as much as we would think. And we really can't study all the students that are having gone through personal finance, but we can see that it does help a little bit. So it is worth it. Then some people say that personal finance the class isn't the solution, but maybe a math class is. And I agree with that. People need to know how to handle numbers. They need to know how to, do basic math, and able to handle their finances. Because if you're going into negatives, then you're not really sure if you're making your income and then subtracting that from the expenses, and then you don't know if you're in the positive or the negative. And then other people are saying that it doesn't even matter. Like, personal finance doesn't matter. It's all about where you come from, your household, or if your parents are already financially successful, then you will be too. And then if you're already born poor, then you might as well not be able to know how to handle your finances, and you'll stay poor. When it comes to the advocacy, we probably need to start mandating personal finance classes. Maybe we can get the whole US on it. It would be good. That means we're teaching all our kids about it. It's mandatory and it's part of the curriculum. Maybe parents can go ahead and start teaching kids about that, but in the classes we can start talking about interest rates, because interest rates are the thing that are killer. People lose a lot of money from interest rates, and most importantly, we need to teach credit responsibly, how to use credit responsibly. That just all comes about the finance classes, and hopefully that can help improve our situation. I want to start wrapping this up by trying to give a little bit of advice and just the way I see it. and set up your financial future. So try not to go into debt as much as you can. Sometimes it's understandable. Sometimes you need to take out student loans to get that degree, and just make sure that degree is worth it. Make sure you can pay back those student loans. Just ties into the implications of taking the loans. Are you going to be able to pay it back? If it's something you can't pay back, then it's probably not a good idea. And we just need to start learning at a young age. You can look this up online. There's a lot of good resources out there. There's a lot of good books. You don't have to avoid it. People go into debt to get a mortgage, which isn't a bad idea. It's kind of like an investment as well, because you're going to live in it and maybe you can sell it one day in the future. And then just the drive to learn. It's important to learn about new things. You always want to be learning, and I think finance is a good part of it, because as you grow you get experience, and then you need to learn new things, how to handle your money once you start getting bigger salaries and stuff. So I'd like to leave that off with that note. Just to review, we want to be aware of our personal finances. Your future self will thank you. Strive for financial independence. Something I didn't talk about, something you should look into. It's when your net worth is positive and you start making real money, you start investing in yourself. It's good to start young, and there's easy access to credit lines, so we need to teach kids exactly what they're getting into, and we can start thinking about regulations for personal finance classes, which would be a good idea. That way our youth will start learning about it. Thank you for watching the video.